Well, that's not what you're expecting to see from an Arsenal side fresh out of a title race season into a new season that you're expecting to challenge again for that. You're expecting them to come away with something this season, and it's not what you expected to see. Mostly, I think, because of the lifeless performance that it was, and it was lifeless. You knew West Ham were going to be up for that. You knew they were going to, go into this game with the sort of chip on their shoulder about selling Rice, selling their captain, arguably their best player, probably not arguable actually at all, most definitely their best player. There's this there's talk about how they're better off without him, which I don't think anybody believes, but on Twitter anything goes, right? So they lost a few in a row. You're coming in, Arteta making a multiple changes to the last starting 11 that comfortably won 5-0 against Sheffield United, and it was an abysmal performance. I think I've said this before. I'm all for backing Ramsdale. I think he's a keeper who's proven himself before. Obviously, he's come up clutch in multiple games. He's made a couple mistakes, which name a goalkeeper who hasn't. Raya has already made a couple mistakes. He's played far less games. But let me not try to be divisive here. And if not for a fluke first goal, which he's very clearly fouled during, Souček, even on his way down, is still tugging on his shirt. It looked like there was some sort of lapse in communication between the two, Ben White and Ramsdale. Regardless, he's not at fault for that. I think the third goal, he's probably not at fault for as well. A wicked deflection, got a hand to it. I've criticized him before for maybe not being strong enough at his, stopping shots like that. The wrist strength, I don't know what you may put it down to, but all in all, we didn't score a goal until the 94th minute, and it was one of the last kicks of the entire match. So if you put that all on Ramsdale, I think you are sorely mistaken for the issues of the entirety of that match. We're missing these key players, but it's not even down to that. You knew Arteta was going to make rotations in a game like this. Thomas Partey is out. Gabriel Jesus is out again. Emile Smith-Rowe is a player you probably thought was going to heavily feature during this match. Once again out with that knee injury, and all the people claiming Arteta didn't have him in his plans, that he's planning to sell him come January or come the summer, when I think the reality is that he was just easing him back in after his previous injury. And you saw that start to snowball when he was getting minutes. He started getting more and more, started the game against Sheffield. These things, this is what you need. You need depth in a squad. You're giving Odegaard a rest that he very desperately needed, in my opinion. And it's completely unsustainable when you have injuries like this. And what makes it even worse is, let alone the injuries, you have these rotational players who come in and perform like that. They perform like that, and it's all just a complete mess. I think Nelson, probably one of our better players. Havertz had a decent game, but again, what is he in the team for? What is he supposed to do in that team? He's winning headers. Okay, he won a couple tackles. I thought he was very strong in the midfield, but again, he's not this attacking threat. And when he is there in the box, he looks shocking. He really did look horrible. Havertz, a couple just nonchalant touches. There's no urgency to him when he's in the box, and I don't know what that's down to. It's looking a bit of a mess. I think it's funny and as fun as that Havertz chant is to sing, how long until we're the ones who look like the fools at the end of the day? So Arteta in his press conferences was obviously disappointed, fuming really. He wants to trust these players. The players who came in, apart from I think Reece Nelson and Kiwior, were really the only ones that seemed up for it. Eddie couldn't really get into the game. Trossard was fine, but based off the performance he had against Sheffield, the way he was putting people on toast and ice skates, and I expected more. And I think that really sums up the game is that I had higher expectations. Losing 3-0 to any team is embarrassing. Losing 3-0, getting knocked out of a competition. You knew there was history based off the transfer in the summer. I think in a game like this, I think it would have been nice to see Declan Rice start. He would have been able to set the tone at a much better pace And when he came on, you knew he was going to feature, I think, at some point. But he's coming on at 3-0, 2-0, whatever it was. The game is over at that point. The players are much more relaxed. They know what a good player he is, but as good of a player as you are, to individually make that big of a difference, 2-0, 3-0 down, whatever it was, it's very, very difficult. I think the fans were probably a little bit relaxed. Probably felt good, to be honest, to see that. And the same thing with the Chelsea game. I would have loved to see Havertz, put a goal away against Chelsea. That's what you want. That's what you want when you spend big money on players like Havertz, like Declan Rice. But obviously he didn't get his chance to really shine against his former club today. So, look, say what you want about the competition. It's not a huge competition. It's not prestigious or historical or anything like that, but it's a competition that you'd like to win. It's a trophy. Trophies are good, and am I really too upset? I can't say I'm too upset about the competition at the end of the day. I'm not here telling you there's bigger fish to fry, bigger fish to fry my ass. How many more injuries? But before we're relying on the players who performed like that yesterday, those rotational players, how long until we're relying on them every week? Those players that didn't really show up. So, let's leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, I do really appreciate it, and I'll see you when I see you.